For another take on the upcoming elections, we're joined by James Jatras. He's a former U.S. diplomat who is now the Deputy Director of the American Institute in Ukraine. Always a delight to see you.
Thank you, Mike.
A victory in an election normally is one person goes up and declares victory. A victory in this election might be one without violence, without controversy. Are we likely to see that?
Well, certainly not without controversy. I think the best that can be hoped for is that we'll have somebody we can say now represents at least the center and west of Ukraine, but the degree to which the winner can claim to represent people in the east and south, especially in the east where the violence is going on now, is very questionable. Hopefully, though, that will provide the basis for some kind of negotiation rather than simply what seems to be the agenda of the people in Kiev now to try to subdue the Easterners by force, which I just don't think can work.
Roy did some handicapping, but I'd love to hear your thoughts. Any thoughts on who you think will probably resonate? Are we likely to see a runoff? Is there a clear-out favorite in your estimation?
Well, everybody is saying that Petro Poroshenko is the leading candidate, and I think there's no reason to doubt that. It is possible he could win on the first round. If nothing else, some people who may be unclear about him might vote for him just to try to resolve it and try to, because obviously if he doesn't win on the first round and then we're looking forward to a second round, whatever hopes of stability there might be will be postponed until then.
What are we likely to see from him if he does win?
I don't think anybody really knows. I mean, this is the ultimate political chameleon and deal maker in Ukraine. He has served both. He was one of the founders of the Party of Regions, which was Yanukovych's party. He also served in the Orange government that preceded Yanukovych. There really is a dilemma of which way he will go, assuming he's the winner. Will he try to force the Easterners to submit to Kiev's authority, even though they will not have voted for him and will not have really participated in these elections? Or will he seriously negotiate with them on decentralization, on the rights of the Russian language, on a neutral status for Ukraine? And that's what we really don't know until we see the results of the election.
And one of the questions, I guess whenever there's an election, people say, I've got a mandate. Clearly, as you point out, it's tough to say that in this country, isn't it?
That's right. He will have, I think, or assuming he or whoever else wins, will have a partial mandate. Will have a mandate from certain regions of the country, but not other regions of the country. And the real test will be, how does he deal with those regions of the country that he does not represent? Does he negotiate with them, or does he try to subdue them?
Vladimir Putin says he will respect the results regardless of who wins. What impact does his words have on any of this?
I think they're very important. You notice he used the same word, respect the results, that he also used for the Donetsk and Lugansk oblasts vote for independence, in essence, from Kiev a few weeks ago and wanting to join Russia. He didn't say accepted it. He said he would respect it. And that's what he's now saying about these elections. I think he also will wait and see, does he have a negotiating partner on the other side? And the question he asked in St. Petersburg today, where's our money?
What would be whoever wins this election, what would be the bold move that they should make to try and patch things up, do you think?
I think the bold move has to be to broaden the roundtable discussions that have been held so far to say, we will talk to the so-called separatist leaders in the east, the people who have proclaimed independent republics in Donetsk and Lugansk. We will sit down with those people and negotiate a grand deal, so to speak, that hopefully will put Ukraine back together and regulate relations with both Europe and Russia.
And you and I have talked about this in the past when you've been on in previous broadcasts. Ukraine seemed to be this piece on a chessboard. Russia moving, the West moving. The international community obviously plays a role in all of this as well. What should they do after the election's over to try and settle things?
Well, to try to promote reconciliation, I think the real key here is the Europeans. The Europeans have not wanted to go along with a push for sanctions from Washington. And as long as Ukraine remains a piece on the chessboard and a football between East and West, the country cannot stay together. It will be torn apart. And the question that has to be asked in Washington, and especially in Brussels, is, do they want to help put Ukraine back together and compromise?
James, always a pleasure. Thanks so much for coming in.
Thank you.